This is a short video about my Aries self-steering. You can see here the bearing is loose. This was one of the problems. Sailing in without self-steering for 6 days, 6.5 days was interesting. And I kind of kept the mind occupied. You'd be busy enough. This is easy enough because there's reaching. I had broad reaching before that. This is close reaching. The boat is just balanced here, sailing along. There's a shock cord on the tiller just to keep a bit of weather helm off it. You can see I was about 30 miles off there. I had my quarantine flag up. And I was getting in under the lee of the land. Here you can see the shock cord. The boat is just balanced. If it luffed up, if a squall came, it would luff up a little bit. But you can see the clouds in the sky behind. The boat is sailing along quite straight. The Aries self-steering at this stage was locked over one way, so I just hooked it onto the chain just to stop the tiller moving too much. But if I pulled the rope, it would actually turn it to port, but not to starboard at this stage. And then it disconnected totally a bit later than that. But it was an interesting sailing, and even though I was disappointed, so here's some of the audio from that time.
So I reckon it's a bushing, which means it can be made on the lathe once I get it all apart without doing any damage. So if that's the case, I'll be able to head up in 2 or 3 weeks. My wife is coming for 2 weeks on Saturday, I hope. I rob a bank. Money never worries me. Maybe it should, I don't know. But yeah, I have a credit union loan and bank loan and overdrafts and things, and the credit card is back in some bit of order, she said, and that's so. Yeah, she'll be able to book a flight in the credit card, and she'll be able to stay in the boat, so it's not big money once the flight is paid. I will get over the money. When I get back, I go work and I can make money, and I'm an old age pensioner, so I have a pension. So the boat is fairly balanced. You can see we're close reaching, and the gears have slipped, but there's a slight spring on the self-steering now. It's only like the elastic, it's not really steering it. You can see the blade is just all the way back, and the rudder can't go over anymore. It can go the other way, no problem, but it can't go, it can't turn the boat to port much, tiny bit. You can see the chain, it's on the full max link on the starboard side. So but it is, the elastic, the boat is balanced. It's, even if the self-steering wasn't on it, going into windward or like this, once you balance it, it'll just steer itself. The mainsail flaps every now and again, but that's fine. Once it flaps, the jib will pull it back and it'll sail away. It was very awkward a couple of times with a big swell and broad reaching, trying to get the staysail as flat as possible, and once the wind went one side or the other, so we were going along like an big snake, over back, and then if you jibed you'd have to go out and steer it, but you know, it worked. It took a while to get different ways of steering it. I found that the best, but I was going the long way. I was over back, but we were tipping nicely, and in the beginning I had 2 jibs and staysail, but it actually got windier. After a while I just had 1 jib pulled on one side, the main, with 2 reefs on the other side, and staysail in the, well, I had it sheeted well out to port actually mostly, and when the wind went one side then it would pull the different sheets, and it would, but they were kind of tight, it would pull other ropes off it and different kind of things, but I jibed a few times, then you'd have to untie the rudder and get it back, and so it was, but I got a rest there for an hour, and I didn't sleep. I was hoping I would actually. A lot of ships around the AIS kept going off, So yeah, there's a gale forecast tonight at 9 o'clock, so I should be under Table Mountain by then. I forget, am I 30 miles off it? It's about 4:30 now. And so once I get in another bit, every bit I get in now, it'll be getting finer. The sea will be getting finer. It'll be getting windier, but the sea should be reasonable, you know. So I have stopped my crying. I was fucking pissed off over being out of the race. I think this boat would be good in the roaring 40s, and I'd have a chance of catching some of them on that. But anyway, I have my health, I have my family, and I have a boat. In the last race people lost their boats, and if you lost your boat, like, I have I'm poor as it is, but I have a boat. So yeah, so Sinead, better stop talking or I'll start crying again.
After a few hours sailing like this, I had to hand steer. I was getting under the mountain, there was squalls and the wind was gone up the gale force, southeast, and so I hand steered for about 5 or 6 hours before I got up to the entrance to the dock. Going in the dark was actually quite difficult. I didn't get much information from shore on exactly where to go, and the dock was so much bigger than I expected, but I got in anyway, lucky enough, into the right place. And it was really windy going in, but no bother, I got in and tied up. Next morning I got up and I walked the customs. I actually went wrong. It took about an hour and a half, but the legs were good. I had been doing exercises on the boat, so the legs were good, and I walked there and walked back and got my visa stamped. So now my plan is to sail up another Golden Globe race boat first, which will be really interesting. It has a hydrovan, it's a rustler, and then I come back down and sail my own home. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a nice to sail back up through the equator again, and twice. Here as you can see, that should be the one I was just moving there. That should be connected to the gears above, and it's disconnected, so that's why it wouldn't work. And it was loose, it was falling down. It was just so loose that it just wouldn't work. So it was a pity, but that's life. So from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank everybody, so many people, everybody that helped me, from Green Rebel to FLI to all the other sponsors, and the people of Ireland. And people are so kind, you know, got behind me and helped me to attempt to sail around the world solo unassisted. Even though I didn't make it, I had a great journey. I know I've been disappointed about different things, but it was a great journey. Here is just a clip I put up somewhere near the equator. And you know, life in the ocean is special, it's magic, it's so beautiful. I can't describe it. It's just a special place, and I had a fantastic journey. And thank you so much to everybody that helped me to get here. And I really appreciate everything. And the dream is still alive, and it's possible for anybody else now to be first. Actually, the first around the world didn't interest me. It's really the race part of the Golden Globe race that I like. And I'd like to thank Don and Jane for making it possible, making it affordable for someone like me to enter a race around the world. You know, the Golden Globe race is a fantastic race. I know there's challenges in it, and we all face those challenges. That's fine. Getting to the start would be one, but Golden Globe race is and has been and is a fantastic opportunity for anybody who wants to sail around the world solo unassisted. And that's so, yeah. My knee, this must be why my knee was sore and swollen, that that got better, so that's good. And I'm looking forward to sailing up twice more, and doing deliveries will help fund my boat and that, and my family and my life, so that's good. You don't need much to do delivery, you don't have to charge much, so that's good. You don't spend money at sea. So once again, thank you everybody, and peace and tea, and I give a yeehaw. Bye.